you live from the Pool House in Southern California. It is your host with the Bearded Betters podcast, Corey Crone. Hello and welcome. We have Pass 2 Unit Tuesday. I think the Ducks conversation was great. He had an infinity gauntlet, this Ducky_bets on Twitter. He went 5-0 on all of his plays. Great talking to him week in and week out. Duck Pond Patreon, Ducky_bets on Twitter. We have a guest joining us today, discord.gg/betting. Now, I make a few soccer plays myself. I have one for us later down the line today. Nav is a guy that I met up with in Boston when the Beards had their Boston meetup. He's an excellent guy. We've become friends. He's also a great soccer handicapper and plays cricket sometimes as well. So we'll be talking to Nav coming up in a little bit about what play that he has for us. We have 4 plays in total. But before I get there, let's swing it over, shall we? I'm going to tell us what we have for our red-blooded Americans. Hello, Mikey Lowe. Hello, M4. And you're like, I don't get soccer. I don't want to get it. That's fine. I have NBA for you. I'm assuming Mikey Lowe is going to have some 3-point bets for us. We're going to look out for some head-to-heads that we have along the way. But the game that I'm most interested in tonight, we have 4 that are starting at exactly 4 p.m. my time, 7 on the East Coast. It is a packed house in the NBA. I am going to be looking to play Stephen Curry head-to-head on 3-pointers. This guy is aiming for the 3-point mark. He is going to be the number 1 player. He needs 16 more. Number 1 versus Ray Allen. All time, Stephen Curry is chasing down that record. So if Mikey Lowe isn't playing Portland and Golden State 3-pointers over, I might play it as well. I have to look on what the numbers, if they set it up high. 2 incredible 3-point shooting teams, top 5 in the league thus far. And there we have it. So that's what I'll be looking at. But I'm going to be live betting the 76ers and Hornets first half. If that game gets out of control, we have 4 that I will be monitoring to see if we can get any action here. We're going plus. This is also incredible for rollovers. I have quite a ways to go on my BetOnline rollover. In betting these plus, this is what I mean. If we take the Hornets plus 130 first half, we get the 76ers plus 170. If we got $100 on each, not only are we making, but we're also $200 closer to that rollover and them giving us our free plays. So whether you're spreading the love amongst multiple books or you're just playing on one singular one, if you're going to only sign up for one, I would recommend BetOnline. It has it all. It has the prop builder. It's got live betting, and it's got very competitive odds. So BetOnline is my number 1 right now for us in non-legal betting states. So be on the lookout at 4 p.m. at discord.gg/betting. YouTube and Twitch, I don't know what's been going on. We gave away cookies last night, the Duck and I, to 5 people who liked and retweeted the tweet that the Ducky and I sent out saying that if Matt Milano cashes his over under 5.5 tackles, which he got 6, so right over there on the hook, that we would send out cookies, but the video's been cutting in and out. I don't know what has happened. I'll unplug and replug in everything, but hopefully we'll have some live betting for Nav's plays, which should be at noon California time, and then 4 p.m. for the live betting for basketball. So 76ers Hornets is my first. My secondary one would be Knicks and Pacers, then Bulls and Cavs, and Wizards Pistons if we must. So that's it, and that's that. I'll take a second here. Let's acknowledge it's Nav's first time coming on the podcast, so congratulations to him for stepping up to the mic. And even though soccer may not be your favorite sport, Nav has been incredibly profitable. So if you've never given soccer a chance, now is your time for the next few minutes and to keep your interest. Dude, what do we do here? What do we do? When someone's coming to the mic for the first time, we do a jersey play. So a jersey play is on the line today. Bearded Yinzer, I think, is now 0-6 on jersey play. So I think we need to go George Costanza, the opposite, for whenever this happens. So, Nav, clean slate. Will we be on a high note, a low note, whatever it is, it's all in good fun. A jersey play is coming up, and here are the soccer bets with Nav. Take it away, sir. A Bearded Betters debut is upon us. Mr. Nav, how are we?
I'm good, Cody. How are you?
I'm good. I know you couldn't hear it, but there was a nice little intro bringing you in, describing that you're quite the soccer handicapper. When I met up with you and hung out in Boston, you told me that you also liked cricket as well. So if I had to give you a choice between the two, are we talking soccer or cricket day in, day out?
Wait, that's a very hard question for me. I grew up watching cricket and playing cricket, so cricket is there. But since I'm here, the timing of watching cricket is kind of a little weird, but soccer, football is what I love. So, and being a huge Arsenal fan, I've been watching and following games. Yeah.
What are we Americans missing about cricket? Because I feel like every other country in the world feels like your cricket is our baseball, and everyone's like, what in the hell are you doing? But cricket to me, and you were explaining some of like the shorter formats, is it a good game that Americans are just like not allowing themselves to enjoy?
Cricket is a good game, but it's not for everybody. And I think every country can actually take one sport that is not very intense and very fast flowing game. And I think for Americans, it's baseball, and you can't take two games at the same time.
That is a really interesting point. So you're saying that basketball and hockey are easy to like, and we went to the Bruins game. It was awesome. The back and forth, and it's so much faster on ice. You're saying we don't have room for two.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you can follow two of them. Yeah.
And I think in India, where you're from, there's this whole book that in all of India, and you guys have so many people, that this guy went out there and he's like, I can find 2 baseball players, and they never made it. So it's not even reciprocal. Like, India doesn't care about baseball at all.
No, I mean, I think I know what you're talking about. It's a book about how
I don't remember the name.
He went and tried to find, because in India there are bowlers, there's people who bowl and they bowl fast, and he was trying to say that we can convert the same people into pitchers.
Yes.
And then later on he realized it's a completely different mechanics. And I think he ended up making a couple of people that played decent, but like he later on realized it's completely different dynamic and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting too. And bowlers there, for our Americans, we're not talking on the hardwood lanes, and that is like the pitcher equivalent in the game of cricket. So for you in India, then Arsenal was the team on TV. How do you find yourself now in America? And I'm great. I'm glad. You literally crossed England however way you want it, and you stuck with Arsenal. So look at that.
Yeah, so I mean, it was in college when I was watching. I mean, I just wanted something else to watch other than cricket, and had a few friends who were following Manchester United, and they would win all the time. And I wanted to pick a team which would not win all the time,
right?
But also play some decent soccer. And Arsenal was very lovely to watch. And I can say I had being a fan is not a good thing. Even my yesterday's bets were, I mean, even though my bets were winning and everything, when Arsenal lost, I was sad for the day. It's just like, I mean, I would not recommend anybody to be a fan. It's not a good thing.
Well, that's what like being a fan is tough. And I think that myself and you share that same story. I don't know what it is about college, but my freshman suite mates, it was one of these things where like 2 rooms and then the bathroom joined. Both those guys grew up playing soccer, and they liked, exactly right, like you said, they liked Liverpool and Manchester United. So a lot of the same thing there. And then I pick Aston Villa. So we each have a team that we like. You seem like, I mean, yesterday Arsenal had a 2-1 defeat that was just tragic. I mean, Arsenal should have scored in the final minutes, and then Everton goes down and actually does score. Would you rather have Arsenal win, like you're saying? It sounded like you were gripping with this. Arsenal win or your bets win? For me, it's bets win. But for you, no judgment. What would you pick?
I think bets win mostly. And also if Arsenal was my bet. And I have decided not to bet a lot of money on my own teams. And whenever I post anything, I normally say very clearly, this is a very biased one. Don't listen to me, but like, yeah.
Even yesterday, you quoted your Arsenal pick as this is a Arsenal fan play of sorts. So we've had some Champions League go on, which is different than the English Premier League. The English Premier League is all the teams in England. The Champions League, as you've documented, is all about the teams that are in Europe. So this is the best competition in the world. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it is the best competition in the world, yeah, for sure.
And that's because, just for whatever reason, the money, the history, whatever, we have some really cool teams in South America. This team that's literally called Young Boys, which wouldn't really fly in the United States, but that's what they go by. They're very distinguished. I mean, North America doesn't really have one, but there's some good teams scattered throughout the entire world, but most of them do reside in Europe, and that's where we find our competition today. And this comes in at a really good time, because I feel like betting on, and for everyone, just to give you a little lay of the land, there's going to be certain groups of 4 teams, and those 4 teams will play each team 3 times, home and away. Does that make sense? So we have 6 games in total. Team 1 is going to play 2, 3, and 4 at home and away. That makes for 6 games. And we have reached that 6th game. So we're at the very end. We know all the results that will matter, because this is like the end of the line. There's no tomorrow for the rest of these group stages. And you have 3 plays, including one spicy parlay for us. Is there one game that you'd like to start off?
Let's start with the Chelsea game. I think that's the most famous game that everybody probably
Yes.
knows about. And so, like Chelsea, right? So Chelsea are on the like second place in the Premier League, and they have one of the best squads in the world, if you ask me. And so Chelsea are playing good football, but they have lost the previous game, and they have a manager who emphasizes on keeping the ball a lot and make sure you don't concede goals. So, and Chelsea just lost a game, and which was they lost in a very bizarre way of conceding a goal, which was a cross and went inside somehow,
Right.
and yeah, and so I mean, for them, they need momentum to get back into the Premier League because Premier League is super tight this year with Man City and Liverpool. They're all fighting really hard. So, and I do like for that, and also that game, Chelsea and Juventus, both of them are 12 points. So winner gets the first spot. So the top place teams play the second place teams in other groups, which is good because you don't wanna face a strong opposition as in the first round of the knockouts. And because of that, they would want to win this game. And also they came off a loss, so they would like to win that because of that as well. And because of these two reasons, I do like Chelsea to win the game. And the other side about it is so Chelsea in the whole 5 games that they have played until have considered one goal
Right.
in Champions League. So they've considered just one goal, and I do like them to win the game and also keep a clean sheet. Uh, so which you can also say like Chelsea to win to nil
I'm looking
or
up that price for you right now.
yeah. So those are the and Chelsea -1 is the actual bet I like for the game, and also this one. So I'm going to take 1 unit on Chelsea to Chelsea -1 and Chelsea and BTTS as half a unit on this one.
Interesting. So what you have there is a very good reasoning. I like that here. So Zenit St. Petersburg is a team that is based out of Russia. They're up there. Dynamo Kyiv as well, who we'll mention a little later, is up there with the best teams in Russia, which are better than I think just some American right now listening would be like, Russia plays soccer? Yeah, like quite well. Sometimes they spend a lot to get big money acquisitions. This team has been good in the past. But really, they're in a point where Chelsea needs to win. So you going a -1 is just like a spread in any other sport. You're giving up one goal, meaning that one, if we go to like a 2-1 finish, that would tie. We need to win 3-1 or something like a 4-1, 4-0, whatever. We have to win by 2, essentially, to win. But if we only win by 1, that is a push. The Chelsea clean sheet price is +111 on Bookmaker, and Chelsea winning to nil is only +138. Do you think that if you were going to play either of these, for me personally, I'd rather just take the +111 than having to win at +138 as well? But I get if you're thinking that they're going to win, you might as well take +138 that Chelsea wins with a shutout versus just keeping that clean sheet as well. Okay. Sure. Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. And really, that Zenit St. Petersburg doesn't have a reason to be parking the bus or playing a very defensive scheme. Nothing's really in it for them.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, there we go.
exactly.
So +138. Would that be a little side play?
Yeah, that's a side.
Great. Chelsea wins to nil. I will do a little post rant at the end of this if I find better than +138, but +138 at Bookmaker beats out Bovada at +135 for the time being. So any final thoughts on this game before we switch to your second one?
Only thing is Chelsea will probably start either Lukaku or Werner. So both of them are their strikers, which who were out for like a few weeks. So they should have some motivation and wanting to get back in the score goals, and that's one of the other reasons why I think Chelsea will score goals.
Yes, and the final point, that's a great point, is that for an American watching, this one is the early game, 9:45 my time in California, 12:45 for you in Boston. And this has the best American, undisputed, that is playing soccer right now, Christian Pulisic, and he plays for Chelsea. So why don't we turn it over to Austrian side, Red Bull Salzburg versus Sevilla. Sevilla is plus 125. Salzburg is plus 200 and plus 250 with a draw in the middle. So a very, not minor, but a slight favorite towards Sevilla. Who do you like between these two sides, and what are we playing for?
This game is going to be very, very intriguing because Sevilla is, for me, they're one of the top 3 to 4 teams in Spain. They're a really good team. They have a good manager. They have a good core of defense. And they have young attacking talent. They're pretty good. But for some reason, they have had some bad luck and some just bad performances that they started the group stages very bad. So they had like 4 games without any wins. So this game, if they lose this game, they are out. So they need to win this game to be able to go to the next round. They need to win this game. And for Salzburg, they can just draw and they're good.
Which creates an interesting dynamic.
So interesting dynamic in this game. And Salzburg, the average age of Salzburg is one of the lowest in all of the top 10, top 20 leagues. They have their strikers are all 19, 20-year-old kids, amazing talents. We will see all of these kids in big teams over the next 3 to 5 years. So because of that, so I do think both of these teams will score a goal without a doubt. I do not have any doubt about that.
Okay.
And
great.
And I do think Sevilla, being a more experienced team who can manage the game well, I think will have a better odds. But I don't want to take just the win because Salzburg had no reason to play for a draw normally, because for any team playing for a draw is a bad idea. You are defending, and if you concede one fluke goal, and you have to suddenly start attacking, which is not easy. If you're not in the rhythm, you can't do that.
That's Steve Bruce, who used to be with Newcastle, Aston Villa, all those teams. As soon as that goal gets scored, then it's like, oh shit.
Exactly. So it's very hard to get and start scoring goals. It's not how it works easily. So in that context, I think Sevilla to win, and we do the Crown system, Sevilla to win and the draw. And the side bet for this is both teams to score.
Which I have
over
at
2.5.
Which I have at minus 149. Is that a price you have, or did we have a second add-in as well?
I'm thinking I like my side bets to be plus money, and the plus money for this one is over 2.5 as well.
Great. So over 2.5 and both teams to score, which I guess they don't have to both hit in that situation. We could have a 3-0 on one side, which would be big. But I like this play. So you're saying that Salzburg has some up-and-coming players. I don't know much about this roster. Is there someone in particular that I should be looking for?
Adeyemi, I think.
Yes, Karim Adeyemi. Let's see where this man is from.
He's a German guy.
Yeah, 19 years old and starting in the Champions League.
Yeah, and for reference, Holland used to play for Salzburg.
Oh, okay.
So they are known for bringing really young talent and making them so they are like a step below Dortmund.
I was going to say Dortmund does the same thing.
So people go from here to Dortmund. So this is like younger people, and then Dortmund like to take people who are from 20 to 23.
And then Dortmund gets the big purchase price, whether it's Pulisic or eventually Erling Haaland when he goes on. That's a really cool system. We don't have that in America, this soccer system where we just let our 18 and 19-year-olds go somewhere, then 20 and 21, and then the big money splashes. So that'll be interesting. So in a way, we're not rooting for them because you're betting against them, but them in Salzburg being able to go on to the next stage of the Champions League would be a big deal for these kids.
Very, very big deal. And that gives their transfer value very high. And that's how Haaland came onto limelight as well. Everybody started talking about Haaland because he was scoring like ridiculous amount of goals with Salzburg and in the Champions League.
So Karim Adeyemi, one day scoring goals at Villa Park. In front of Arsenal, you know that's going to happen. So Sevilla is going to be the play here. So what we have is there's no situation. Sevilla must win. For you making this play, how do you do your Crone systems? If someone is unfamiliar, instead of everyone picking a team to win, we re-engineered it and say who is going to lose. So is this typically a play where you'll try to make a little on one side? What values are we putting on Sevilla's Crone system, and then both teams to score?
So point seven. So one unit is on the Sevilla Crone system play, and half a unit on the side play. And for the one unit, I like Sevilla to win the game, but I don't want to. If they end up drawing the game, I don't want to be stuck. So 0.75 units on winning and 0.25 on the draw. I
Okay,
have
great.
to check the math, and I think it will be evening out.
If
I
we
have to
do a
double check
hedge
the
there, then yeah, it's just if they tie, we go home with nothing, which in my experience almost always pays more than doing the draw no bet by doing
Yep.
just like a few more clicks, saves us. And what do you have a unit number that you're playing around with? Are you establishing a unit?
Oh, for me, it's about $100.
Okay, great. So we're playing with some good dollars here to be on $100 better, which is what I use the example for. I think it saves at least $4 to $7 by doing the Crone system versus draw no bet, which, hey, pays for the coffee of the day, like just for a few
Yeah.
more clicks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I like this one. Sevilla. Do you see what would be our number one pain point for Sevilla? Is it that the kids are young and hungry and know that they can tie to go on?
Yes, and this happened actually in the first game where the kids Salzburg went up to they went to the lead, they took the lead. That game was crazy. It had about 4 or 5 penalty kicks.
Wow.
The first game, which was crazy. So that could happen. These kids, they move very well. They run a lot, and the movement is really good. They have a good coach. So that's the one thing. If the defense is a little sloppy and slow, they can score. They can score a few goals, and then suddenly, Sevilla is in the back on the back foot.
How interesting. Well, there it is. And like Nav has been saying, Salzburg's average age is 23 and Sevilla's is 29. So a big difference that we have between these two teams. A team that you're very familiar with, we just bet on them a few days ago. Villarreal takes on Atalanta. Now, I know Americans don't really follow soccer as close, but we have a team that's just like Atlanta with an extra A. So Atalanta from Italy and Villarreal. We have two teams that are about, now you have me looking at the ages more than other. These teams are 28 and 29 years old on average. So 23 for Salzburg really is a very young age. So great call there. The names that I recognize are Dani Parejo. I like his game. He plays for Sevilla. Is there anyone that you're looking for in particular here that would be deciding between these two sides? And this game also has an interesting dynamic that we've looked at as well, kind of not stealing your thunder, but we're in a very similar situation to the last game that you described, points-wise.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting game. Atlanta over the last couple of years have been one of the most interesting teams to watch. If you don't have any money, if you don't like any teams, if you want a new team to support, just watch Atlanta play.
Big ad.
They are spectacular. They have a coach who have done coaching at bigger teams. And so normally some of these coaches can't make it in big teams just because big teams have big players have personalities, and they
Right.
don't adapt to the way the coach wants to
Ole.
play. And yeah, and because of the way Atlanta's manager is like, no player is too big in Atlanta, so everybody plays to the formation, and they play one of the most open and spectacular play, and which is great, but also means they almost always are weak at the back. So it's just because it's not that their defenders are bad, it's just that their attackers go forward a lot more, and they might get caught, and then there is a chance of conceding the goal on the other side.
Interesting. So you're saying with this guy, you're telling me there's a team first mentality. I know Atalanta because I'll follow, I don't know if you do this with Arsenal, but whenever Aston Villa sells someone, I stay semi-interested in their career. I'm not watching all the games, but I keep tabs. There's some guys that are in the MLS. There's some guys that have gone across the world, and their goalie in past years, who's now a backup for Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, is Pierluigi Golini. So he was their goalie, and like you're saying, he was this big guy that could play it out from the back and would play this exciting style even as a goalie. So you're saying this team style makes them weak at the back. I see that they're probably going to be using 3 defenders instead of 4, and some managers even use 5. So is it the formation, or it's like the team and style that they play that makes them susceptible to giving up goals?
So when you're playing back three, right? Like an attacking formation with a back three ends up being having 2 wing backs, and the wing backs so that's where when you say 3 and 5, those wing backs can sit back and defend, and that becomes 5.
Right.
And in Atlanta's formation, normally their wing backs are the people who goes forward and supports as the extra wingers, which means there'll be 3 at the back, And the reason why I have seen them concede previously was they like to play from the back, and sometimes they try to play passes which are a little too risky and they concede, and they give the ball back. And Villarreal is one of these teams who I mean I know Villarreal fairly well because their manager right now used to be ex-Arsenal manager, so he plays a very pressing style of football, and Villarreal's team is good, but not great. So Villarreal will try to look and counter if they get the ball back.
Which is exactly
And
what they should do with this formation.
yes, and that's I mean in the previous game with them it was a 2-2 draw between them. If I am correct, I have to verify that. I think it was right. And in the 2-2 draw, and Atlanta conceded the goal because they were playing out from the back and they gave the ball away. And Atlanta is always good when they want to attack, and when they want to defend, they are not a good team. And that happened actually on the game with Manchester United. They were 2-0 up in the first half, and in the second half, they decided we are not going to attack anymore. And they are very bad when they just have to defend, and they lost the game 3-2.
Jeez. Well,
So, yeah.
so over? Is there any side over plays that you like?
Side play is again probably the same one as the other one. Both teams to score and 2.5. Over 2.5.
And with these bets, how long have you been betting for?
Few years, 2
Okay.
to 3 years.
So for me, my breakthrough was realizing that we could make a lot of the same plays live. Do you have any interest in betting both teams to score 5 minutes into the game for a better price when it's hopefully 0-0? Or are you betting these pregame and seeing them out? Because on Monday, I completely talked you out of throwing away some dollars. We were betting on a game of under 2.5. You had a great first half. We got one goal, so we're on the pace. And then, like the 50th minute out of 90, for those who don't know, we get our second goal, and then I'm hitting the alarm bells like, wee-oo, 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 go into like rescue mode to save our dollars. And the game ends up at 1-1. Your play would have cashed. So my way, I'm talking ourselves out of potential profits, but reducing those losses. Are you comfortable giving 5 minutes here before betting the both teams to score, or are you just saying fuck it and you're going all in?
So with both teams to score, I've not always seen that bet be available or
I think
later in
Bovada
the
has
game. Yeah, so if that is there, we can wait a little bit and do that for sure. That doesn't. And my live betting strategy most of the time is very straightforward. I like the favorites to go down. If the favorites go down in any of the games that I'm watching, and if I know the lineup is good and they are expected to win the game, and I would like to take double chance once they go down.
Can you explain double chance?
Yeah, so either win or a draw, or we can do Crone
Right.
system, or yeah, that's basically I'm saying once they go down, I'm going to take Crone system, and I'll get most probably plus money or minus 110 on the total. So there's a good chance of me making money out of that, and yeah.
I like that. And we have multiple games tomorrow. These are at the 9:45 or the noon time slot that we have. And so in monitoring these, we have 6 games going on at 3 o'clock your time. What are we going to do here? Are you opening up all the screens? I saw you make a comment that you're like, I have 2 screens. I have a phone open for Discord. Like, what can we do with all of these playing at the same time? The reason why they are at the same time is because we need to know who is going to have the result at certain time frames, so there's not any sort of benefit for a team that is playing later. But you have a number one game out of these to watch. The only other one that I want to discuss is my play that I want your thoughts on. So what are we watching tomorrow? Between the 9:45, I know you'll be watching Chelsea. We'll say screw you to Malmo and Juventus. These noon games, you watching both your picks, or do you have your eye on another one that you're not betting?
So I think I'm going to watch the Sevilla game, and then I might have an eye on the Atalanta Villarreal game on the side.
Okay.
Both of those are the games that I have my bets on, and I think those are the interesting ones as well. Both of the teams needs the wins, and so I want to watch games where the result matters.
Got it.
And so like the other games, right? Manchester United just need to keep at least a draw, so they can keep the top spot, and that's the only thing they need. So yeah, the other games are interesting, not as interesting because it's the last week of the Champions League group stage. So many of the teams have got, yeah. So
Right. Well,
that's my thoughts on that.
help me out on this one, because
Yeah.
Benfica and Dynamo Kiev. So this is going to be an expensive one. I feel like if you're listening up until these points, I will have a recap for us at the end. I'll ask Nav to give a recap. Essentially what we're doing is we're giving a little flavor for our afternoon time slot here of saying, hey, let's pay attention to these games. Benfica, though, has much more expensive price than the ones that you've been giving us out. You've been giving out some really good solid bets. I like all of your logic so far. This is a very expensive one because in this group stage, Bayern Munich is playing Barcelona. So Barcelona, their goal differential right now is -4. The exact same as Benfica. So Barcelona, my guess is that they should be playing to win. Bayern Munich really has nothing else to play for. Benfica and Dynamo, though. So Benfica has 5 points. Dynamo is completely out. They have 1 point. Don't worry if you don't know what this means, but they are just completely out. They've only scored 1 goal in the competition. So Benfica right now is at -330 to win and +450 to draw. Do you see any way that even though it's very expensive, would Benfica lose? My concern is that Barcelona takes some sort of lead and knocks them out. That news gets relayed and Benfica stops trying. Am I overthinking this, or should I be taking an expensive Krone system that the Russians don't beat us this time?
So let me talk about the first game itself, right? Like Bayern and Barcelona game.
Right.
So Bayern and Barcelona, this is the game at Bayern home, but Bayern have won all the 5 games, so they have absolutely nothing in this game, which means Bayern don't have to play their best lineup. But
okay, yeah.
that's the negative side of it. But Bayern Munich has going to have a winter break in about 2 weeks. So unlike English league teams where they are going to play a lot of games, like Liverpool who are not going to play their best team, but Bayern is don't have to rest them because they are going to have a rest in a couple of weeks anyway. And so even if they don't play their best team, Bayern has a really, really good core players. And Barcelona, and the way they are right now, they do not have a lot of great players. And Barcelona has to win.
Right.
To have any
or at
chance
least draw.
To go through. At least draw, and if Benfica doesn't win. So, and the way Barcelona will probably look is like they have to win it because somehow they expect Benfica to win the game.
Exactly.
And because of that, they will be open in the back, and I don't see Barcelona beating Bayern, and that's my read on that game. And because of that, which means Benfica has a very high hopes that there is a very good chance they make it, so they will give everything in this game. And Dynamo have no reason to play with a lot of effort because they can concentrate on something else. Even winning this game is not great. And if you assume Dynamo was playing against Bayern or Barcelona, that's like a very high profile game for them. At least they'll be like, okay, people are looking at the result.
Sure.
And if they're playing Benfica, even that's not a high profile game. The manager might just think like, we don't get anything out of it. We might rest people for the games after.
So, are you co-signing here? Are you saying I should proceed cautiously? Benfica versus Dynamo Kiev, this one would be expensive. It would take around 333 to win 100 and then shore it up with like $25-ish to go for the hedge. Am I crazy to, not the Russians, but the Ukraine side in Kiev, am I crazy for thinking that Benfica should win this one?
I don't think so. I agree with you. I mean,
okay.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it being together our play for this.
Right. Well, we have an expensive one there. I think we have it wrapped home. So you want to tell us about your parlay before we wrap this up?
Oh yeah. So the parlay that I have, which is all the teams that that need to win or get something out of the game,
okay,
is Manchester United, Chelsea, and Juventus. Juventus have the same motivation as Chelsea has, that they want to have any chance of making it top of the group. That is, they have to win the game, and Chelsea, they expect Chelsea, if they slip, they have a chance. All of these 3 teams need a result, and I think they will go with they will try to get a win. I'm not sure if the cover is the case for Juventus and Man U. Juventus need -2 was the cover, and I don't know if they will do that.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
So yeah, and that's the parlay: Manchester United, Chelsea, and Juventus.
Okay, I'm putting that in right now. Juventus, yeah, -615, and these are all money lines, right? You're playing just to win. So Manchester United, Juventus. Remind me of the third one once more.
Chelsea.
And Chelsea. Okay, that's what I thought. That parlay comes together 100 wins, 152. So not bad. I mean, you have the -615 in there, beating up on our Swedish friends in Malmo, and then Manchester United and Chelsea. Well, Nav, thanks so much for coming on. I like that you Didn't think that I was crazy for my very expensive play. We have some fun games tomorrow. I'm excited. Are you going to be like pumped to watch these? Do you get more excited for the Champions League as it gets closer to like the Elite Eight, Final Four style bracket? How are we feeling for tomorrow's games?
I like them. I mean, so this is one of the few years where even coming into the last week, there's a lot of meaningful games. Normally, 4 weeks in, 5 weeks in, all the games in the last week are just useless.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have some games that have some meaning in. It's a little sad Arsenal is not in there, but still good football. So that means I can have at least unbiased opinions on teams and bet on them and hopefully make some money.
Well, great. I think you did fantastic on your first job on the mic. We just had a great conversation, and also this man, you did it perfectly at Boston College. We came in, maybe like 5 or 6 of us. We're storming in. You've been waiting in line to get into this bar, and like a damn movie, we show up right as you're getting in. So whether you're getting us access to that cool second-story bar that we went to, or you're getting us access to some plays, I'm very much looking forward to Tail. Nav, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You thought that was it? No, we are going jersey play on you. We've just looked at all the options. Nav, who are we making a jersey play for your debut appearance?
I like Atalanta a lot, and also they have a really cool jersey, and just me supporting an English team, I can't.
Well, that's the same thing. I don't want to have a Chelsea one because I like Aston Villa, you like Arsenal. I like these. They're black and blue. They've got stripes that are going from north to south. I like it. Are you putting Nav on the back of yours? You want a player? Who are you going for?
Just my own name, Nav.
Okay, Nav on the back. We'll ask him his number once this play comes in. But that's right. Atalanta, we are going Crone system on the jersey play. See you guys next time. How about Nav? Great job in his first appearance. Confident on the mic. Got some good plays for us too. So Nav, thanks for coming on. I want to give a recap of everything that we talked about. The Crone system essentially takes turning the play into who's going to win and going to who's going to lose. So it is taking in the 3 outcomes. Win for either side, that's 2 outcomes. And then they can tie as well for the third. So we will be betting on Sevilla themselves to win and to draw. Atalanta, the jersey play, to win and to draw. And Chelsea -1. That means if Chelsea ends 1-1, we lose because our score gets a -1 at the end of it. So if Chelsea wins 2-1, that's a tie because the score is really 1-1. If Chelsea wins 4-0, then it's only 3-0. So great. Chelsea -1, Atalanta and Sevilla Crone system. Nav also has a parlay, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Juventus. On BetOnline, that came out to 100 wins, $153. I am not a proponent of high money line parlays, but there we have it. 3, in quotes, easy ones to get your soccer wins if nothing is to go awry. My play was fading Dynamo Kiev and doing so backing Benfica against Dynamo Kiev. This one is also happening at the noon time slot. It is expensive, but I am backing Benfica, who has absolutely nothing to play for other than to win. They need to win this game. Kiev is eliminated already. So I'll be putting up the $333 to win 100 and then using about 55 or so to be able to shore up any potential losses. I'm playing to win $333. So that's it, and that's that. We've got some good things under control. Champions League fun is upon us. So thanks to Nav for stopping by. Let's get this jersey play. And Beards, I appreciate being part of your day. I will see you tomorrow.